Thank you for all that came back to tune back in. Yes, sir. This is REAPS. My name is Charles Silk Dunn. We're coming back for part 2 of the power of relationships. You know, it is amazing to me that we do not grab concepts that will help us benefit in not just furthering our lives, but furthering our spirituality. We go through life trying to minimize our involvement with people, not realizing it's through osmosis, it's through that sparking of being next to people, of learning and surrendering and submitting to different ways and concepts that help us be the better person for our future. Well, REAPS, I told you I was going to take you deeper down that rabbit hole. Get strapped in, because we're about to take a journey. REAPS, for those who, if this is the first one you watch, is REAPS. Reap what you sow. You cannot reap anything if you haven't sown anything. So part of the most powerful thing that you have to grab and grasp is, where do I start getting the right concepts and the right awareness to understand the person that I'm dating or trying to spend the rest of my life with? And listen, let me state this for the record. It doesn't have to be about the common idea of relationships. It can just be about a friend. Many of us have been betrayed by friends, and we've seen the signs. We've seen the signs. But only when we miss the signs do we have to run into the situation in reality. Well, REAPS is about giving you a nice, simple process to start assessing the people that you are involved with. REAPS. The R stands for who raised the person. That's the birth of the emotional identity. The E is about the environmental influences. The A is about the astrological position. Like, what's their zodiac sign? Like, what are they deep down astrological energies? And after the A is the P, the path. What path did they take to be in the current position that they hold right now? And then the last is the S. The S is the siblings. The siblings is the brothers and sisters, and are they the youngest, or are they the middle child, or are they the only child? Get ready for this quote. And listen to this with your soul, not with your ears. The true person in any relationship is not going to reveal themselves until they've gotten what they came for. Think about that. I've heard many celebrities say, oh, don't give people sex until 6 months or a year. Don't give them your money till 6 months to a year. Let me tell you something. You can't put man's clock on evolutionary development. You can't put man's clock on emotions, because you're going to find yourself get disappointed each and every time. Did you know that 93% of serial killers and rapists were abused? So you might say, how does that connect? The R, who raised the person. See, you have to realize that until you peel back those layers and get down to the core of the character, that you are flirting with unknown dangers. Because only when you get to that space can you really detect or assess how this person is going to respond to different ways and actions and thoughts. Because everybody is on their best behavior when they first meet. Everybody. So let's go with this. Who raised the person? Is it their mother? How did she act? What was the emotion she transferred to the man or to the woman? Was it a mother and a father? Did the person witness a lot of arguing? Who started the arguments in the house? How is the child assessing the exchange? Who was dominant? Who was the provider? Did the child, this is critical, did the child ever witness problem-solving skills? Did they ever witness there be a little combative energy? And did they ever witness one, be it the mother or the father, take on the position of trying to fix it instead of trying to convey their side of the argument? Let me tell you something about how I was raised, briefly. I was raised in a single-parent home with my brother. My mother worked 2 jobs, and when she was working one job, she would go to church. She was one of them mothers that fell asleep with the Bible on her chest. Never did a lot of yelling and screaming. I have an aunt, and she was the same. Great communicator, not a lot of yelling and screaming. And I don't have any sisters. So I'm not the kind of person that you can get in arguments with and go cut my tires and break stuff out of my window and we're going to have makeup sex an hour later. Or you come at me with a knife. And I know some of you people are laughing, but this is really a standard for how people are in their life, in their relationships. This is what they deal with all the time. My emotional identity is about being calm. I didn't give myself the nickname Silk. Everybody else gave me that nickname. You want to know why? Because I take a lot of breaths and I'll always strive to manage my emotions. You will find that in this world, most problems arise when we let our emotions dictate agendas. You have to have what I like to call the adult timeout. You know how when you was a child and you did something wrong and your mother said, I'm going to put you in the corner or go up to your room and take a time out? Most of our problems, we stop having those timeouts. And that's why you have a lot of damaging relationships that are beyond compare. So when you talk about the R in REAPS, who raised the person? Were there any problem-solving skills? All you have to do when you're talking to a person is say, hey, who raised you? Your mother, your father? And they're going to go. You can lead a person into talking about the people that they love or the people that raised them. Let me share a story with you. Many years ago, I was dating a young lady. Many years ago. Matter of fact, about 25 years ago. And I was frantic because I called her at 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. She wasn't answering the phone. So I got concerned. I got worried. So I'm driving around the street trying to find her. I'm in Columbus, Ohio, matter of fact. Looking for her. About 5 o'clock in the morning, she answers the phone. I say, hey, hello? She said, yeah. I say, you okay? Where you been? She said, don't worry about where I've been. I said, whoa, okay. That's cool. Well, are you safe? Yeah, I'm safe. And then she got real defensive and started, throwing out all these tantrums. But I understand what she was doing. She's trying to deflect the energy from what's really going on. That she knows she had me worried and her whereabouts were unaccountable. So as she started to go on and on and on, I said, whoa. I said, you want to know what? Let me see if you can repeat all that in my face. So I get in the car, I go by her house. So I get to knocking on the door. And all that phone gangster talk, she wouldn't even come and answer the door. So now I'm trying to ask myself, is she kidnapped? Do somebody have her and making her say all these things? So she comes to the top of the window. She says, Silk, I'm not going to come down there. You're not going to do anything to me. And then I say, do anything to you? I say, sweetheart, I'm not going to do anything to you. What would make you think I'm going to do something to you? I said, do you got a gun? She said, yeah, I got a gun. I said, well, do me a favor. Take the safety off, put your hand on the trigger, and come answer this door. Because I got all the confidence in my ability to communicate, so I want her to come answer this door. I want to make sure she's good. She comes to the door with the gun on her side, finger on the trigger. So I come in. I said, is there anybody in here? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. She's still defensive. I bring my tone down. She sits on the staircase. I start talking to her. In less than 5 minutes, she started crying. Next thing I know, boom, the door come kicking. It's her father and her mother. She said, yeah, street thug. He said, yeah, street thug. I knew I was going to catch you out there disrespecting my daughter. I knew what it was. So now he's doing this rest. So I look at him. I look at her. I say, wow. So I let him finish this rant. She got the gun. She's sitting on the step. She got the gun right on her lap. So I said, wow. So he said, what you got to say now? I know you got something slick to say. I said, yeah, I got a whole bunch of slick stuff to say. But right now, we're going to start with this slick truth. First of all, sweetheart, I'm talking to his daughter now. Have I ever called you out of your name? Have I ever put my hands on you? Have I ever acted in a manner that would make you think I would put my hands on you? So she's crying. She's, no. I said, well, now, sir, I got to start thinking about this. Where does she get this stimulus, this reaction where she thinks that a man's anger equals a woman's abuse? Where does she get this history in her mind that just because I'm angry means that I want to put my hands on her? I said, I never gave her that. I said, sir, with all due respect, she must have got that from you. Because I just watched you come in the door, you coming in here like King Kong, beating your chest. You don't know nothing that's going on. I was concerned about your daughter. Didn't know where she was all night. But I look at you coming in here, ranting and raving, all upset. I've never given your daughter an idea, a thought, or an energy that would make her think that I would put my hands on her. But now, I think I see where it comes from. So to me, your issue is not with me. I communicate too well with people to put my hands on a woman. So, her mother, and her father, they look at each other. He wanted to say something slick, but I done kind of caught him up. So they look at her, and they say, girl, you need to get your act together. So I said, wow, I'm sitting back. They don't have anything to say to me, because now I'm watching the show. I understand where she get this from. I understand this. So as he's saying that, he turned around, he don't know what to say. As he got on her, I felt the need to retaliate for her. I said, excuse me, but the fruit don't never fall far from the tree. I said, I came in here, I was upset, but I never cussed at her. I never said I was going to do anything to her, but she immediately thought that me being upset or disgruntled equated to physical violence. She had to witness that from somewhere, and she didn't just see it once. It had to stain her to the point where she believed that because I was upset with her, that this is what I was going to do. So guess what ended up happening? Everybody looking stupid. He turns around. He's walking out the door. He's trying to say something to her. And I shake my head because there's no sense of accountability. See, how we're raised establish habits. And those habits are very, very, very hard to break. Has anybody ever seen a ball stop rolling halfway down a hill? The answer to that is no. That's what happens when we establish these habits. See, there's a whole science to how we are raised. There are scientists, there are psychologists that say that a child establishes who they are between the ages of 3 and 8. So after 8 years old, guess what? Here come the layers. This is the camouflage. This is the gloss. So when you don't take the time to peel back the layers, when you don't take the time to let people reveal to you who they are and how they respond to things, guess what? You are treading into unknown dangers. REAPS. We underestimate so much about how a person is raised. But listen carefully. Those who give you the diameter of your emotional identity will prescribe the circumference of your activities. You are just a robot until you analyze how it is that you think the way that you think. Because a lot of times it's not the problem, it's how we see the problem. It's the lens we're looking out of. It's how we interpret the problem based upon our emotional identity, based upon what we've seen growing up. So one of the things that you have to ask yourself when you meet someone is, who raised them? Were they in a foster home? Do they have abandonment issues? You have people that have been let down so much. You ever been around a friend, you tell them you're going to be there at 5, and you show up at 5:15, and they so mad they mess up the whole day? And you be like, wow, like you that upset? That comes from somewhere. Every bad decision and every bad energy has emotional footprints. We have paid a large cost in the things we don't know. We no longer can afford to keep having relationships with people that we don't even know who they are until it's too late, until it costs us our blood, until it costs us our idea of family, until it costs us our sanity and our peace. We can no longer sit back and not start peeling away the layers, start sowing good quality energy so we can have a harvest, a beautiful reap. You know, I don't want to get too deep, but I'm going to tell you something. In metaphysics, there is a study that talks about the fact that every word is attached to an emotion. And every emotion releases a chemical into our bloodstream. Did you know that? Let me give you a good example, case in point. When you have phone sex on the phone with your special significant other, and if you're a man, you get erection. If you're a woman, you get moist inside. What do you think happened? How did that word trigger the emotional memory of an emotion and release the chemical? Guess what? Every single emotion releases chemicals into our bloodstream. Even when you're angry, when you're sad. So you might say, where am I going with this? As human beings, we're addicted to the chemicals that sustain our daily activities. So, to put this in layman terms for you, there are people that are addicted to arguing every day. That adrenaline, they're addicted to losing. They're addicted to being sad. They're addicted to, man, this ain't gonna never work out. That's a chemical. They're releasing a chemical into their bloodstream. So, how someone is raised that started the habit, that creates the words, that gives birth to the emotions, that releases the chemicals. We have a whole lot of people in this world that are addicted to the wrong emotions. Being addicted to those wrong emotions makes us human. But not knowing what those emotions are and being the person that's dating that person can cause you irreparable damage in your life, in your relationships, and in your future. So for everybody that's running around is enjoying the newness of your relationship and the first kisses, the first 20 kisses, the first 20 times you become intimate, let me give you a rude awakening. The true relationship never begins until all of the enthusiasm ends. Think about that. See y'all next week.